Hey everyone, we're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. And right now, if you want to let me know that you are on, you can leave me a comment and also let me know where you are joining from. So I see we have people from as far as Australia. That's really cool. I visited about 10 years ago and I really liked it. So we also have people joining from Texas, San Fernando Valley, Oakland, and quite a few people from the Bay Area. And someone from New Jersey. So there's more people from California, Alameda, Marina del Rey, and um, also more people from Texas. So we're gonna get started. Thank you guys so much for joining me today live to talk about if you should start flipping houses in 2024. So we are going to. I see some more people from California, from the Bay Area, and from New Jersey. So Lynn said she has been following me for almost 2 years, and um, her and her husband are doing fix and flip and buy and hold. That's amazing. So Pamela from Seattle. Very cool. So let's get started now. So I wanted to talk about whether you should get started flipping houses in 2024 because it's the beginning of the year, and I think a lot of people are probably curious whether it's a good time to get started. So what we're going to cover today. So first of all, we're going to talk about the market update in 2024, and then we're going to talk about what the market condition means for house flipping. And then we're going to talk about what it means for you as a house flipping beginner or someone who's in business. And then towards the end, we'll talk about how you can get ready for a successful house flipping career. So this is about some tips and tricks you can use that to get yourself ready and to get yourself prepared. So let's get started. A little bit about myself. My name is Alisa, and I'm a real estate investor and coach in the San Francisco Bay Area. I was in the tech world. I was working 9 to 5 before getting started in real estate investing. And I was laid off from my tech job back in 2017. And I decided to, rather than looking for a new job at the time, I decided to just jump into house flipping head on, and I never looked back. So fast forward, say 6 years later, I actually have done over 50 projects and I achieved financial freedom through real estate investing. So I'm really trying to help more people to pay forward and to get as many people into real estate investing and out of the rat race as possible. So let's make this section interactive. If you're watching it live, give me a like and tell me your location in the chat, as a lot of people have already done. And later on, if you are watching the replay, you can also leave a comment to say that you are watching the replay. Have you heard? If you haven't tell me that about your location, you can leave in the comment now so we can see if there are people from different, more other locations. So Alex from Oakland. We also have someone from Chicago. That's very cool. I actually went to school in Chicago. It's probably pretty cold out there now. I believe this is someone from Atlanta and more people from Oakland. Anyone else? Samatel, cool. So it seems like most people are actually from the Bay Area. Someone from Oregon. Awesome. Okay, so let's dive in. Um, First of all, I want to talk about the market update. So we are just in the beginning of the year, and the market has actually changed a lot in just a month. So I was able to experience it firsthand because I actually have 4 houses on the market in the last 2 weeks. So we put the 4 houses on the market, and within just 1 week, 2 houses have already been sold. So it's really, um, there's a lot of activity in the market. We're seeing hundreds of buyers attend each of the open houses that we've had, and we received multiple preemptive offers and even hundreds of thousands dollars over asking price. So this is really incredible activity in the market, and it signals that a lot of buyers are seeing that interest rates have dropped and they are so ready to make a purchase now. So market is really on fire. So what it means for house flipping. So when you are flipping a house, you are on both ends of the transaction. You are buying a house, buying a fixer-upper in the beginning, and when the market is pretty hot, it's actually a little difficult to find deals because all the sellers know that the market is strong and it's unlikely for them to want to sell at a discounted price. And as a house flipper, you are also on the selling side. So after you remodel the home, you put the house on the market for sale. So when the market is strong, it's definitely a very amazing time to sell houses because the demand well exceeds the supply. So when you put a house on the market, it's going to sell really quickly, and that's amazing. So if you enjoyed this session so far, give me a like and leave some comments so that more people can see this content, and also share with somebody that you think might find it helpful. You can also use the comment section to ask questions. Towards the end, we're going to have some time to answer a few questions as well. So if you are a house flipper or you are a beginner who's thinking about getting started in house flipping, what does this market condition means for you? Um, I'm a firm believer that it's always a good time to flip houses, and you can actually make money in any market. As I mentioned earlier, house flipping is on both ends of the transaction. So you are on the buying side, um, and if the market is on the decline, it's actually easier to find deals, and um, it will be easier for you to secure the deals at a deep discount. But when you are trying to sell the house in a declining market, it will be a little challenging to sell the houses. So it's kind of a wash. And when it's the upswing market, like we're in right now, it's actually going to be a little harder to find deals, but it will be easier to sell the houses. Like what I've been experiencing, that as soon as I put a house on the market for sale, it goes pretty quick, and the sale price gets bid up. So, all in all, it's also a wash. So, you cannot take advantage of the market when it's either the decline or the upswing market. You can only take advantage of the market on one side of the transaction. No one really has a crystal ball, so nobody knows where the market is going to go next. And this is as good of a time to get started as any other time. So, as a beginner, how can you get yourself ready to start flipping houses in 2024? Um, there are 4 things that are very important. First of all, in terms of your mental preparation, it's really important to believe in yourself. Just think if Elisa can do it, you can do it too. Because when I was laid off from my tech job, it was a really tough time for me. And um, I had two options. I could either go look for another tech job and still work for somebody else, or I could jump into real estate investing because that's where my passion is. So I really had this belief in myself. I decided to take the leap of faith, to go all in. And it turned out that the belief in myself really was fundamental in me um, getting started and also to be successful in this business. And the second mental preparation, or the mental um, kind of like a what you should have is to really want to get started in house flipping. Because when you really want something, you're mentally and physically, like, you just try to do it so hard. So when that's the case, you are more likely to to be successful. I recently watched Tony Robbins live, where he talks about everyone gets what you have to have. So when this is something that's really important to you and you just have to achieve it, then you can definitely do it. So that's the mental preparation. And in terms of physical, it's important for you to be able to dedicate a couple hours a day to work on this new venture if you are um, determined to get started. So you want to, after a whole day of work, you want to set aside a couple of hours. And on the weekend, you also want to use as much time you have to work on this new venture. And then financially, of course, you want to be financially stable. You want to have some savings. But kind of contrary to popular belief, when you try to get started in house flipping, you don't really have to have all the money that will be needed in a house flip. There are actually many ways to finance a flip. So you can rely on a hard money loan or a conventional mortgage or even a private money loan in order to fund a flip. So you don't have to have all the money yourself in order to get started. And then the fourth thing is very important as well, is to have the guidance, to find a good mentor who can guide you through this process. Because a mentor can show you the shortest path to success, and they can also help you navigate difficult decisions and situations, and they can help you minimize mistakes and risks. I really um, took advantage of having a mentor when I was getting started. My first deal was a very difficult one, and a lot of things went wrong. So because of my mentor, I had the guidance to be able to deal with the difficult situations and also avoid a lot of mistakes. So I actually came out of my first deal unscathed, and I was able to still make a decent profit. So I really attribute it all to the guidance from my mentor. I think having a good mentor is really key to getting started and to be able to build the foundation of the business well. So, how I can help you on this journey? If you are interested in having me as your mentor and having the right guidance for to get started in this journey, you can check out my coaching program that I just launched, Transform Flipper Academy. And you can go to the website. And also, I wrote a book called Houses Quick Start Guide. It's available on Amazon. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I have a lot of videos on before and afters of house flips and also tips and tricks for beginners as well. So leave a comment and tell me what your biggest takeaway from this little session is. And also, if you know somebody who might benefit from this session, you can share this live with them. And then we can open up to questions. I'm going to look at the questions that are left in the comment section and pick a few questions to answer. So the first question is, would you mind sharing the area where the houses are? I believe you are referring to the houses that I listed on the market. So the houses that I have on the market actually are all over the Bay Area. Some of them are in the peninsula and some of them are in the South Bay. So all the activity on these listings give me a pretty good pause about the where the market is. And Nancy asked, how do you find a deal for the beginners to find a house at a discount before it goes on the market? So there are many ways to find deals, off-market deals for beginners. Um, for me, I like working with real estate agents. So usually before real estate agents list a house on the market, a lot of times, depending on the seller's situation and also the condition of the home, a lot of houses are actually are actually not listed on the market. So they sell the properties off market. So if you can build a relationship with those real estate agents who have off market properties, then you have a good chance of getting a house off market at a discounted price. Um, And then this question is, how much is the rate for hard money loan now? Um, for hard money loans, it's actually they differentiate investors by your experience. For beginners, usually the rates are a little higher. I don't know exactly the rate for beginners now, but my guess is it's close to 10% and with a couple points. But as you get more experience and when you have better track record, you actually can get much lower rates and because your loans will be a lot safer for the lenders. So this question is, as the market is shifting, what margin do you recommend to set in the deal analysis to prevent a downside market and not lose too much money? That's a great question because the margin that you desire for each of your flips is very subjective. So you can define it yourself. And usually, when I analyze a deal, I try to set the margin to at least 10%, sometimes a little higher, depending on the market condition. Because when the market, something changes in the market, your exposed to a little more risk, and the risk can actually be covered by the margin that you have in the deal. The higher the margin you have in the deal, the safer it is for you to complete the project because if you have a 15 or 20% margin built in your deal analysis, then even if the market changes by 15 or 20%, you can still at least break even. So I usually use a margin at 10 to 15%. But be careful. If you set your margin too high, then you are likely to miss out on a lot of deals. The next question is, when it comes to financial, what is a good percentage to have for unexpected construction cost, and what is a good percentage to have for carryover? So it's a great question because in the construction phase, you almost always come across unexpected expenses because when you open up walls or and the floors, a lot of times there are things that you don't expect and they would cost extra for you to complete the project. So I usually budget at least 10% to cover unexpected costs. As a beginner, you may want to budget a little more because if it's your first time working with a contractor, you probably don't know them that well. You don't know their style yet. So that would be a time to set a little higher percentage to cover unexpected costs. For the carryover, I think you mean the holding cost. For holding costs, you can just put in the interest rate and the points that the hard money lender charge in your deal analyzer, and then you can get a pretty good idea about how much you should budget for that. So, this question is about with such a tight supply, are you still getting deals from realtors or it's a wholesale control market for flippers now? It's kind of interesting. Even though most people are seeing that inventory is very tight, there are still actually a lot of deals out there. I actually, last year, when people think inventory is really tight because there are not a lot of houses for sale on the market, I actually did a record number of deals. I was able to do 50% more deals last year compared to previous years. So definitely you can still get a lot of deals from realtors. And a lot of wholesalers actually also get their deals from real estate agents. The next question is, are you concerned with dealing with asbestos and lead-based paint when flipping older homes? So, when you are flipping the older homes, you want to make sure that you check on these things, asbestos, mold, and lead-based paint. You need to get the house tested in order to know whether the house used those materials when it was built. You want to be diligent about testing, and after the house is tested, you have a better idea like what materials were used, and then you can decide how you want to deal with it. The next question is, all the house flips must have permits because I see some flipping deals without permit but still sell for a good price. There is no set rule to have permits in order to flip a house. But when you get permits, the buyers are more um, they probably have more confidence in the work that was done. And when you don't have permits, there's always more risk because during the construction, if someone calls the city on the work, then you may get a stop work notice. And also, um, even after the work is done, there's still a chance that you may have to open up walls in order for the city to inspect it um, if you get caught that you didn't do it with permits. So it's recommended to always get permits for house flip. This next question, is it risky to work with contractors who don't have license? Yes. I think if you work with it, depending on the scope of work, if it's just simple scope like paint or flooring, it's not as important. But if you are doing work related to plumbing and electrical, definitely if you work with a contractor that has a license, would have more assurance on the quality of the work. So this is a good question. Daphne asks, I don't have enough income to qualify to finance her first property. What program can help her purchase her first house without income? So, if you are talking about financing your first, like your primary home, that's a different question. But since we're talking about house flipping, if you are talking about the financing on your first house flip project, there are actually many ways, many different ways that can help you finance your first house, first flip. So there's hard money loans, there's private money loans, and you can also bring in like an equity partner who's willing to share the cost and the profit on the deal. So there are a lot of different ways, and I have done deals without using my own money before, and I know many other investors who have done that as well. So don't let not having enough money um, deter you from doing your first house flip project. So someone asked how to find a reliable contractor to who can stay on schedule and on budget. Um, I can talk about this for a long time, but I do have a video on my channel where I talk about how to find a good contractor. You can refer to that video. So Nancy asked, how long does it take in general from buying to selling, including the flipping time end to end on a deal? It really depends on the scope of work. If the scope of work is purely cosmetic, it's all um, simple work, then it may take 2, 3 months to complete the construction. But if you are doing more structural changes, you are moving walls and you are adding bedroom bathrooms, then it probably will take a lot longer, 6 months to a year. So it depends on the scope of work. So, some Randy asked, many hard money lenders are reluctant to work with house flipping beginners. What was your experience? So, there are a lot of hard money lenders out there. There are definitely lenders that don't want to work with beginners because it's more risky, but I know that there are a lot of lenders that are open to work with beginners. And this is another time when it's important to find a good mentor, because if you're able to bring a mentor onto the deal with you, then the mentor, if they have already have some experience, the lender can also look at their experience and qualify you to do the project together, and you may even be able to get a better rate. So we have more people from Chicago. And this question is, in a declining market, except for being more conservative with numbers, what other suggestions do you have for beginners? So being conservative is very important, but another thing that's really important is to um, build a good team. So if you have a good team in terms of contractors and agents that work with you, then you are more likely to complete your project within the time frame that's expected and within budget. And also, if you are working with a good agent, then on the selling side, you're more likely to sell the house at a good price rather than um, pricing it wrong and then having the house sit on the market for a while. So someone asked about tax. I'm not a CPA, so I can't really advise you on taxing. So it's best to find a good CPA to advise you if there are because there are many ways to there are many deductions that you can take advantage and different ways um, to reduce your tax liability. But really go to a good CPA, especially if you can find someone who specialized in helping real estate investors. That's probably the best way to go. So we have a few more questions. So someone said, going to an open open house, I suppose. Do you take your contractor with you or an overall estimate for the renovation to determine the final offer you can put down for the house? Usually I don't really take my contractor to an open house because if you're going to an open house, that means you're buying a house that's already on the market, and your chance of getting the house at the right price is pretty slim. And I wouldn't recommend taking a contractor to an open house because the contractor will see that you don't really have control of that house yet, and it's not it's not a guarantee that they would be able to get the job. So they could feel like it's a waste of their time. So Krista is from North Carolina and she's looking to get into house flipping. And John Chain made a comment that she or he thinks that permit is the most unpredictable predictable part of a project. So permitting can be painful. I've had a lot of situations where the permitting really took a long time and it delayed the project by a lot. But when you get a project, you can really work on the scope of work and think about how long permitting for specific scope of work is going to take, and then you can try to pick the scope of work that's not going to take too long. So that's how you can make this kind of unpredictable um, part of the project more predictable. Hi, Jimmy. So someone asked if I've ever got sued by any of the buyers. So knock on wood, I haven't. But it is a possibility when you flip a house that it's possible that the buyers are not happy about the quality of work that you've done, or they are not happy about the disclosures. So it is a real possibility to get sued. So Roy asks how many deals I flip at the same time. It really depends, but most of the time I have probably 6 to 8 projects going on at the same time. They are not all under construction. Most of the time, different deals are at different stages. So some deals are in acquisition stage, some deals are under construction, and other deals are probably already on the market or have are already pending sale. So Kimberly said she has a CPA, but she probably needs a new one. Yeah, when you look for a CPA, if you are a real estate investor, especially if you are a full-time real estate investor, you want to find a CPA who knows the um, tax codes that's related to real estate investing well, so that they can help you find um, the right tax codes in order to get the maximum deduction. So Nancy asked how to find a good mentor who's willing to help beginners to get started. So that's why I launched my coaching program, Transform Flipper Academy, because I realized that a lot of beginners need the help to get started, and that's how I got started as well. So if you are interested, check out Transform Flipper Academy and see if we would be able to work together and get you started. So my program is dedicated to teach beginners the ins and outs about house flipping and to help my students to get out of the rat race and achieve financial freedom. So Krista asks, did you do a JV with your mentor? Yes, I did. So, in fact, my first deal was actually a joint venture with my mentor because I was new in the business and I really was very scared to get started. So, I decided to bring my mentor in on the deal. Um, I pretty much took care of everything, and my mentor offers guidance on the project. So even though he didn't bring in any money or the deal or contractor, I still found it was tremendous help. So we have a few more questions. I'm going to pick two more questions. Um, So Daphne asks, what property types are good investments? Condo, townhomes, manufactured homes also qualify as good investments or just houses? Um, I know I've flipped condos and townhomes on top of single family homes. So I know those can be great investments as long as the numbers work. And I also know people who flip mobile homes, so that's definitely doable as well. And the investment would be a lot lower than flipping a single family home because manufactured homes are usually a lot cheaper. So one last question. So Paul asks, why would someone want to sell their house through their realtor's network of contacts without listing it? It's a great question because when you are um, in your own situation, it's kind of hard to imagine someone who would do things completely different. But I've come across a lot of situations where the sellers are just not in the position to list their house. If they are elderly, if they are sick, or if they inherited the property and they live far away, they just don't have the capacity to do the prep work to get a house on the market for sale. And sometimes they need cash really quickly. So these are all the possible scenarios that would happen to a seller who want to sell their houses off market without any open houses without any foot traffic. So there are a lot of different situations when this would happen. Um, and when you are buying a house from a seller like that, they actually see it as you are offering help to them, because without you buying the house, and make it very quickly, make the sale process very smooth, they would be more trouble. They would have to do a lot more work, and it would take a lot longer for them to be able to sell the house. So they actually think that you are helping them. So, thank you guys so much for joining me on this live session, and I hope it was helpful. If you know somebody who might be interested in the content that we discussed or the questions that we've answered, make sure you share with them so they can benefit from it as well. And if you haven't, give me a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I hope you are having a great Friday afternoon. And thank you guys again, and hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.